Greetings and welcome. I'm Psychic Medium Roberto, and I truly hope you're doing well. I'm guided by Spirit, and I'm recording this episode on July 24, early evening. Trigger warning: the subject matter is of a mature nature and deals with true crime events. All cases are treated as alleged until proven in a court of law. So I'm going to be looking at the case of Doug and Ashley, colloquially known as the Black Swan murder case. And if you're unaware of the case, Ashley is alleging Doug approached her in an aggressive manner, and she, in self-defense, then shot him. And this is what the current trial is about. The event took place on September the 27th, 2020. I'm going to be doing a compatibility look between the two. And then in relation to the day of the event, to determine was it self-defense or murder? All right. So, Doug, born October 2nd, 1961. Ashley, December 5th, 1992. I would like to thank Jackie for sending me Ashley's information so quickly. I do appreciate it. Gratitude. Thank you. And the reason why I wanted the date of birth is so we can do a compatibility test here, because I think, of course, when you're dealing with a spousal situation, we also need to look at who are each of these people, regardless of how we know them in the media, right? So with Doug, and I've done a brief scan already, but you'll note that he has a 17-8 in the year that he's born. So if we add 1 plus 9 plus 6 plus 7, we get 17 with an outcome 8. Pings directly on Ashley 17-8 in the day. So when we say in the day, this is pretty much her adult life, 17-8. Whereas in the case of Doug, it's coming from, this can speak about, and this it is in this case, past lives, family heritage, lineage. It's a very prominent, powerful, strong number in the scheme of things. Now, because it's in the year that he's born, and Ashley has it in the day, but in particular because it's in his year, will alert me to karmic connection, karmic relationship. Okay. So let me just put your karmic. Because of the year, because it sits in his year. So, for example, let's say where his 12-3 is, if there was also a 17-8, and let's say where his 17-8 is the 12-3, well, let's not use 12-3, let's say it's 10-1 for argument's sake, but he has a 17-8 year, then it's not so much it's not a karmic relationship at all. But the fact that it's sitting in his foundation year that he's born speaks about past lives, lineage, heritage. Now, Ashley has the 21-3 in the year that she's born, which in a sense pings on his day with the outcome 3. The difference here, because she has the reverse in relationship to Doug, so he's got a 1, 2, so 12 with an outcome 3. She has a 21 outcome 3. The outcomes are the same with a 3. The difference is he is the 12-3 as a number sequence is more of the building nature. So in other words, if things were to be done properly, this is the way to do it, to build community, to build a home, a family. Whereas 21-3 is the destructive side of it. So if you want to make a direct comparison left to right, the 12-3 is the positive and the 21-3 is the negative. Only in a sense in comparison to these two, given the context of a homicide. But the connection is the 3. So again, we have a karmic connection again. This is not, in my opinion, because I'm picking up the word twin flame, this is not a twin flame. A twin flame would be 17-8 year in the year for her as well. Twins. They are connected for different reasons in this case. Interestingly, and of course the 12-3 does ping on her 12-3 year as well. So there is good connection numbers here. And this is the irony of the whole thing. But I may have the reason why this has gone wrong. Okay. You will note here's a 29-11-2, 22-11-2 outcome, which is the same as hers. Ashley has an additional number, which is the 38-11-2. Okay. It's significant enough, but there's certainly a match here. So in a way, and yes, we can get into, I'm going to speak about the ages, but not in the age gap, but what I want to say now about the age gap, in this case, played a part. There are couples in the world, and I know this pisses off the women, but I'm just saying, it pisses me off as well. I have a very close situation to this kind of thing. I'm not going to get personal online, but I'm just saying, there are examples of older men, Michael Douglas and his wife, Catherine Zeta-Jones. But in this case, it didn't work out. And the reason being, so he was in a 58, he was 58, beg your pardon, he was 58 at the time. So he was in a 13-4, 5 plus the 8, 13-4. So effectively, he was in a 4-year. I'll just mark it as orange, just so you can see it. So he was in a 4-year. But because he was in a 13-4 year, this is about new beginnings and new changes or the endings of things. Now, Ashley at the time was 27, which gives us the 9. So, as a couple, and I'm not saying, I acknowledge that they were going through like a 2-year divorce, horrible situation. I'm not discounting all of that, and I'm not going to include the lead up to this day. In other words, I'm going to just do the first 3, because by all accounts, we know it was a shitty, rocky relationship. Excuse me. But it didn't sound good. But what I'm saying, the reason why it didn't work in this case in terms of age, it was only the age. The rest, they connect beautifully. There's almost a sense of they were dating themselves. Does that make sense? There's a lot of similar numbers. There's some variation, but in the main they were very similar. The difference is because he was in a 4-year, she was in a 9-year. They're out of sync with each other. They're out of sync. And in this case, it is because of the age, because there is an age gap. But let's say, for argument's sake, if he was 5 years younger, they would have been in sync with these numbers. They would have had a lovely relationship. But when the problem is when you're out of sync in a relationship, it's like the sun and the moon situation. They're going to miss each other. There will be glimpses and moments where they see each other, but in the main, they won't see each other. And this is the situation we have here. So, from a date of birth point of view, good connection numbers, but unfortunately they were out of sync with each other. I saw a bit of day one yesterday. I kept on seeing thumbnails about the Black Swan murders, but it never, I've opted to go with the first names, not to go with the flow or bunk the flow, but we are dealing with human beings here. And when you make it the Black Swan, so I'll just say on an objective level, if you make it the Black Swan, you're making her out to be the negative one. Now, in terms of everyone is innocent before the court until proven otherwise, that doesn't help the case. However, I do believe she set this up to happen the way the way it happened. It was by design. 44-8. 44-8. So I did some pre-work just to see if there's enough markers for me here. 44-8 by design. You'll note the outcome within the summary day is a 17-8. 17-8 on Doug, 17-8 on Ashley. Both in significant positions with significant influence. I believe we can agree on that. Of course, it impacts the foundation number here, 17-8, because Doug has lost his life. I will just say, and I have found evidence of it, there was someone behind her. This is from Spirit Psychic Mode. There's someone behind her that was assisting her. Not necessarily, obviously, pulling the trigger or anything like that, but there was someone behind her involved as well. Because hidden, and that was the spirit sense I had, and I have evidence of it, and here's it here, 37-10-1, in the kill zone, beg your pardon, in the crime scene. (37-10-1), there's other people involved. It doesn't matter even if they higher ups, official people, or whatever, family. It's evidence of other, so collusion is the word we may be looking for. Or knowledge of. So 3 days before the event, we have a 33-6 in play. And again, we have the 3710 in the open. So this is, because we have it in the open leading up and hidden. So hidden means you've got instructions given to you before even the day of event about what you must do on the day. Murder. 1910-1, murder. So there's other people involved here as well. They may not have pulled the trigger. So here we have in the open 3710-1 and the 1910-1. So the discussions, so in other words, what's happening is the discussions are happening and the intent is 33-6, hidden intent about the 15-6, the guy. The guy as we know as Doug. Now I'm looking at this generally, right? Not specifically. But 15-6 is like the boyfriend, the man issue, 5 issue. So here it is here. The 25-7 reveals the issue within the marriage. So you've got a union 7, but there's an issue 5. (16-7) speaks about the divorce. The 16-7 speaks about the divorce. There's a lot of uncertainty, a lot of emotions going around. Uncertainty with the 11-2s. 11-2s is also the legal aspect of it. 37-10-1 can also speak about the legal processes. And I believe they were meant to go have some court ruling or something. So we've got evidence of words going around. Now, we can't judge a relationship from the outside, but by my understanding, Ashley had on two or three occasions said, yeah, we're going to move in together, let's live together, and then at the last moment, it's all fake, right? So this 26-8, there's heat going on around here. Words are being said. And you'll note the 17-8 pings on both of them, but in this case, here will be Ashley because it's in the exact same position. This hidden 35-8 is a nasty number at a crime scene. So we have this 21-3 here. And this day would have impacted both of them. So, to answer the question, what was the sequence of events that evening? Now we know on the day of the event, the two were packing up, leaving, filling up a truck, and traveling to a new location. There are two numbers here that confirmed what happened here for me. That is the 44-8, as mentioned, by design. We'll go deeper. And here, September the 27th, the sequence of events. So the crime scene takes place from, let's say, sunset, beg your pardon, to the next day is where we'll get the information. What concerned me when I first saw this was this 40-0. Because by all accounts, the 40-0 is a male outburst. Let's say in a spousal domestic sequence. However, it is followed by a 22-4 in sequence, which says, why would he have an outburst as per plan and then die? So in my opinion, an outburst happened, but it was planned by, we'll get to that in a minute, to cause the death. So, that old saying of toxic relationships, pushing each other's buttons, knowing what's going to upset him, and what is going to upset him. Also, 13.4 speaks about the child as well. And of course, that's going to upset him. Then apparently she told him on that night that they're not going to do it anymore. They're not going to move in together. When he had already filled half the van with his stuff and arrived at her place already. I mean, how's that? And it wasn't the first time. So September 27th starts with treacherous numbers, 27-9. That's a premeditation number. We know there's a murder, there's a death. 36-9, murder. 6 is a gun. So even there again, 3, that someone else knew about what was going to happen here. In my opinion, behind her. So 14-5 on the next day, 28th of September there, we have a presence of a 14-5, foul play. This wasn't an accident or self-defense. "14-5 is what human beings do to other human beings when they are nasty. And again, numerology shows us by familiarity, 24-6. Someone he knew. So in the reflection summary zone here, we have the 16-7, which says divorce, separation, going separate ways, the issue among them, the issue in the marriage, so very alarming. We have 4 fours here. That is chaos. That is when things go awry. 4, and we have a 13-4 here, speaks about death. To have all of these 4s is like 31-4, death. And what I found interesting in the reflection, we actually see that the 44 is hidden. Which means for me, the situation, although outward here, because that's what she wants us to believe, in my opinion, it's more about the children, 13-4. And when I watched a docu on Core TV, or at least an episode about the timeline of their relationship, I mean, she didn't even tell him when their first kid was born. So unfortunately, we have this relationship where children are in the middle. And he had a child with her. This was all about the children, getting rid of him, finished and klar. End of story. The 44-8 alarms me because it tells me it's by design. This was planned. So, for example, as mentioned up front, if someone knows how to press someone's buttons, what's going to make Mr. Doug angry, do you think? Just so I get a reaction and put an end to this nonsense. And this is one of the other issues in relation to their age, that she, at the time, she was 27. You know, there's a significant age gap here. And unfortunately, by the sounds of it, I stand to be corrected. He just didn't want to let it go, man. Of course, not seeing the kid, and that is detrimental to any parent or father or mother. But it didn't mean you have to keep with her. A tragic case of toxic relationships. And also, in fairness, you know, although in some ways it is a good thing that there's quite a few connections, but on the other hand, it's also not a good thing to have too many connections like this. Because and I've said this a couple of times, it's like you sitting with yourself on the couch. You're sitting with yourself on the sofa. You're going on holiday with yourself. You're in a relationship with yourself. Do you know what I mean? And because they were completely out of sync with each other. So these were the contributing factors to what we know as the case today. But in my opinion, I believe this was foul play. Made to look like a domestic dispute. Now, I will just, what kept on pinging on me in every bit of video that I saw, or her, whenever, from the beginning, when there was issues between when they got separated and they were having their first child, she started bringing up all these allegations of his anger. Like he's got anger problems. And in my humble opinion, these numbers in total, what he has here is not an angry, bullish man. In fact, in many ways, a little bit soft than the usual male, if you know what I mean. He may have had some control issues with a 3, but it also brings around his softness, easy on the eye, the huggy-lovey type. But he doesn't have numbers that tell me, or the combination. Look, let's say 8s can be quite aggressive. But in combination with everything else, let's say if you had a 6 somewhere and even a 5 or more than 1 3 or more than 1 8, because that's pretty much the same 8, then I'd say, whoa, this guy's numbers are quite hectic. But for me, he doesn't have obvious aggression, physical violence numbers, in my opinion. This 5 year with her, there's the bullshitter. Here's the bullshitter. Yeah, that's the bullshitter, 5. We're looking at this in a negative aspect. Fives can be the politician, the diplomat, the attaché between parties. But when a 5 is nasty, or the negative aspect of a 5, she will tell you lies to save her skin. Now you'll see here's the issue here. Ashley does have multiple numbers, right? All these 3s. This is all about control. This woman would be a control freak, colloquially speaking. And if you, hold on a second, ladies and gentlemen. I believe we may have a narcissist on our hands here. Or there's another word as well. Look at all these triple 3s, 8s, and 5s. Oh my goodness. Don't mean to be disrespectful. But this is the kind of person you kind of tiptoe away from, hoping they don't spot you to kill you with either their tongue or gun or other manipulative means. Here's your master manipulator numbers here, ladies and gentlemen. You got all these 3s, mix in a 5 for good measure, the worst a human can be towards another human, and an 8, games and manipulation. Oh, what about me? What about me? Meanwhile, it is about her because she caused the situation. So, unfortunately, I believe Doug was set up, in my opinion. She would have activated triggers on him. He would have had an outburst. I'm not denying that whatsoever. But it was planned. So give her any reason to shoot, and that is he gets angry. We don't even know if he took a step forward. When he walked into a bedroom, she could have just shot him anyway. But in my opinion, we've got premeditation numbers in and around the scene. 27-9, 22-4, 44-8, all by design. So in my opinion, Doug was set up again. And that's what pisses me off the most. Again. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll watch the court proceedings now. What will be the outcome in this situation? Dare we make a prediction? What did we say? The case started on the 23rd, eh? Should we have a glimpse quickly? Justice will be served. Because there's a 7 around town. Let's see in full. So We're doing this impromptu. Sorry for the add minutes here. 8:33. Ooh. So now there's, you see, it's actually pinging on her. Female outburst as a result of a female outburst. 38:11:2 pings on her, doesn't it? Yep. 11:2. This is, oh my goodness. Do you see how the 38:11:2 20:11:2 pings directly on her? It is the first day of court, eh? Yeah. So yesterday was day 1. 23 July. So in the middle we have Doug. So let me just make a note here. Court case. So the 12:3 pings on Doug. Hidden is the dominant female figure. So we have the outcome pings directly on Ashley. So the fact that it pings on 38:11:2 may actually reveal the other people involved here, or at least one other. There's definitely someone else behind her in this situation, not Doug. Behind her. In fact, of course it pings on Doug as well. But the defining number here, I don't believe this is going to end well for her. This is going to ping on her. This is going to ping on her. So we can say, based on the court case, 38:11:2 pings directly on Ashley. If we follow sequence, now they both have 20 with an outcome 2:11:2, but the reaction will be a different thing. There's a very good likelihood that she's going to be found wanting here. (17:8) homicide. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's never nice to see couples or in distress, and we can say people in distress. Relationships. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's keep an eye on the news and see how the court case unfolds. And please leave your comments and thoughts in the comment section. Hit that notification bell icon for next episodes. And please stay safe. Thank you very much for watching. And stay alert. Bye for now.